Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. And fantastic book. Even it's kind of a tearjerker. When you think about the care of a mother for her child, and sometimes the connection between the child and the mother, and it really brings a tear to your eye. I'm going to call this a critical reading. If you're not familiar with critical literacy, it's looking at the way that the author writes and the perspective that they write from. And so I just want to explore that a little bit. This is The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. Some nice little raccoons. We won't read the foreword. This book is written to Stephanie Rebecca Corin and children everywhere who love to be loved. Chester Raccoon stood at the edge of the forest and cried. "I don't want to go to school," he told his mother. "I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends, and I want to play with my toys, and read my books, and swing on my swing. Please, may I stay home with you?" So we can already see that this little raccoon sees that school is separation from mom. Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. "Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do," she told him gently, "even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will learn to love school. You will love school once you start." Now that's the first thing I'm going to bring up. This is the author's perspective. This is not true. Not everyone loves school once they start. In fact, what the data seems to tell us is that as kids spend longer in school, the less they like it. And so I think the mother here is making a really common mistake in saying that in order to try to get the child to calm down, they try to entice them with fun and excitement, and that excitement isn't always fulfilled. And there's another assumption in here. It says sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do. I guess that's sometimes the case, but there's an important distinction here. We always have a choice. So one of the things the mother could have said is sometimes we choose to do things we don't want to do because they're good for us. That's a different perspective that the mother could have provided. You'll make new friends and play with new toys. Some of that may be true. You'll read new books and swing on new swings. But again, what if you like your swings? Maybe the swings that they have at school aren't shaped the same way as yours. Maybe that's going to feel different. Besides, she added, "I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights at school seem as warm and cozy as your days at home." So she's trying to calm him down. Chester wiped away his tears. He's a little distracted now and looked interested. "A secret? What kind of secret?" "A very old secret," said Mrs. Raccoon, "and I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the Kissing Hand." "The Kissing Hand?" asked Chester. "What's that?" "I'll show you." Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand and spread it open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss rush from his hand, up his arm, and into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. Now this is a kid who really, really loves his mother and really feels a connection to him. I've seen many kids get this kind of warmth from their parents, and they kind of shy away from it, or they don't want it because they know they're not going to get what they want. So this strategy won't always help, because sometimes our kids don't want to be comforted. They want to feel those emotions. Mrs. Raccoon smiled. Now, she told Chester, whenever you feel lonely and need a little loving from home, just press your hand to your cheek and think, Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you, and that very kiss will jump to your face and fill you with toasty, warm thoughts. I don't know if anyone's ever tried that. I've never really tried that. I've never really thought about my family while I was in the midst of, at least when I was in school. I never really thought about their love for me. Maybe that would have helped. I don't know. She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped her fingers around the kiss. Now, do be careful not to lose it. This is one of those times where this parent is kind of playing on her child's ignorance to sort of make something that is not serious into something that's serious. I think something that she could have said is, even if you do lose it, when you get back home, I'll give you a new one. Or I think there's other ways that she could have tackled that instead of trying to say that there's this extra important care that this little raccoon needs to take. Chester loved his kissing hand. Now he knew his mother's love would go with him wherever he went, even to school. Oh, look, he's playing, enjoying things. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. I wonder how old this boy is. What does a little boy that's getting ready to start school think about? Suddenly, he turned to his mother and grinned. Give me your hand, he told her. Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. Now you have a kissing hand too, he told her. And with a gentle goodbye and I love you, Chester turned and danced away. See, when little kids go to school, a lot of times it's actually the mother or the father who misses them the most. Because kids get excited when they try new stuff. And of course, there'll be some times that the school isn't as fun. And kids will hurt his feelings. Other animals will hurt his feelings. But at least when he comes home, he'll have someone that is familiar and that he knows loves him. Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester scamper across the tree limb and enter school, and as the hoot owl rang in the new school year, she pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with special words. Chester loves you, it sang. Chester loves you. That's one of the most important things I think that our children can give to their parents, as just their love and their patience, at least as much as they can. The parents need that too. And that's what this book is about. It's not about a little boy that's scared of going to school. It's about a mother who's dealing with letting her child go to school. And it's about a child who wants to be around his mother, but he's continuing to grow up, and that's kind of hard too. Thanks for watching. So that was The Kissing Hand, a version of the Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. And that's what I call a critical reading of it. We can always look at a story like this and talk about what's the author's perspective and what is the author's what's not necessarily their agenda, but what perspective do they bring to their writing, and what are some ways that we can challenge that perspective and look at it in a different way. We saw that Chester is a well-loved boy, but what would this story look like if it was a parent who didn't really care to have their child kind of complaining? What if the child said, or what if the parent said, well, you just need to get over it? How would that story unfold a little bit differently? And if you have some ideas on how you think it might unfold differently, I'd love to hear those. So comment below or send me an email, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching.